All right, everybody, away we come to today's call. It is Friday, February the 7th of 2020, and this is the TRC sales training call that I'm excited to do here, but I'm going to go right after you today. No long preamble. I know people roll in a little bit as the call goes on, but I'm going to be looking for a sales challenge from somebody that I can handle so that we can get really right into the Q&A. Lots of good things happening on the phone, tremendous distinctions, things are working, but I want to try to rapid fire a helpline sales moment for you all so that whatever the challenge might be that you're having with sales on the outside, or even more importantly, the outside was more important to me because we do so much role playing here, but I will listen to recorded calls if you have one, but I want your challenges today. I want to make sure I am in the hot seat with you and for you so that we get it going. Okay. So I'm going to open up the mics. Remember, *6, mute your mic, or you can just mute it so we won't hear all the background music, noise, whatever it might be. And if you're in the car, you have to turn down those speakers. Okay, here we go. All right, who would like to go first? I need a sales challenge, anything that gets you rolling here. Outside sales, inside sales. You want to talk about the scripting, whatever it might be. It's your call. Run with it. Somebody go first. Go ahead. I hear a couple of breaths on there. Let's go. I want somebody. If you are a member of a team and you have been invited here, you're obligated to speak up now. This is a gift of time to you from your team leader for you to learn and work on your business. Please ask me a question. Go ahead. Come on, guys. I got guys in Metro City in Ontario. I should be hearing from you immediately, both of you that are on.
All right, Danny.
Yep, there we go. Thank you.
I'll give you a layup here.
Okay, bud.
Because I'm kind of wondering exactly the best way to go about this.
Okay, brother.
When I get a new lead
Yep.
from an internet source, and I don't reach them on my first try or my second try, when is the optimal time to leave a voicemail?
Yeah.
And what should I say? Because one of the strategies that I've been using is just saying, "Hey, this is my name. This is what I work for. Call me back." Should I say that? Should I say more? Should I say less? What is the optimal way to go about it?
I think it's a super question because there's no exact optimal, but to optimize would be a good strategy, right? So I want to be careful how I answer it. I think it's a really good thing to be thinking like this, Dave. You know, it's a good idea. So here's what I would say. Give me a context, please, too. If I have the context better, then I'll know. This is an internet lead again?
Sure. Yeah, internet lead. They want a home evaluation.
Okay, internet home evaluation. Okay, good. And your best practices that exist to start with are what? For the number of calls, like, explain to everybody pretty transparently, what is it that you're actually trying to do? Is it today, tomorrow, the next day, wait a week? Do you have a cadence like that you guys follow? Or are we throwing all these internet leads in and we're pounding away for multiple months? We throw them in a pile. What do we do? What does it look like first?
Our cadence in the CRM is to do daily sequence, 1, 2, 3, weekly sequence, then monthly sequence. I'm sure you're familiar with the way that works.
For sure. Well, I think,
Yeah,
I think best practices was that, look, if a new lead comes in, the likelihood that they're interested right there and then, because they asked, is high, right? The probability is high. It's going to atrophy over time. There's no doubt about it. But when they first come in, the interest level is probably the highest. So we want to deal with it then. So the idea of calling today, tomorrow, the next day is because that's when the inquiry is the hottest, right? So that's what we're paying attention to. So now let's say you try today, you try tomorrow. I originally wrote that plan in Infusionsoft, a follow-up, to leave a message on the third day, okay? So I won't fret, and I actually, let me tell you what I put in detail for optimization or best practices, which was more accountability. I think too many people in sales will make that first dial, and then they won't make another dial that day. So if you're sitting down for a long day or even a long shift, to rotate through those new leads, to call it once and then say, I didn't get it, I don't like that. I was talking to Duran yesterday in Seattle about that in his one-on-one. I mean, if you can see notes that left message, or whatever, did not leave message, there's no proof that there was a real concerted mindset to get these people to answer the phone. And when I say a mindset, I mean, you really have to do that. Now, presuming I know you, so I know you're definitely and thoroughly after these people. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is that I think if you try them 3 times the first day during the shift, 3 times during the shift the next day, you're really kind of like into 9 attempts. Now, this is presuming that the workload for those days is not overwhelming where that's possible, or it's facilitated by a dialer. That's why I asked those questions, right? However, when you get to that 3rd day, and the cadence might slow down because it's like, okay, clearly this guy's not home. He's not answering, whatever the case is. I'm going to pause it for a week, let it bake a little bit, presuming that maybe there's some other kind of contact going, emails, etc. I don't like just a blank drop off and nothing happens. But let's presume on that 3rd day, you now decide to leave a message. Okay, can't get him. Now, he, she, whomever it is, has inquired about something, right? They've inquired about a home evaluation. So you're simply, like I said this to you before too, you're simply looking to fulfill. That's your job, right? Your main job. And I think a lot of people forget that, right? That the idea here is we are trying to fulfill. So your job first is not just to book the appointment. And you know where I've been with your whole team is like, guys, let's just slow down and remember, do the job first, which is to fulfill. So if I fulfill first, that's the idea. Hey, so now that goes to the message, the context of why I'm calling. Hey, listen, Danny, or listen, whomever, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because you had requested a free home evaluation, and I wanted to ask you a few questions so I could get to the accurate information. Please call me back at your earliest convenience, or I'll be trying you again soon. So looking like some weird number that they don't know that shows up. I mean, by about the 3rd day, you're mixed in with robocalls or something that they don't know exists. That makes sense so far? You with me?
Absolutely, yep.
So by the 3rd day, just let them know that you're the guy that's supposed to fulfill on the very thing that they asked for, and that they can call you back. That's direct response. Please directly respond to my voicemail and call me back, but not to let them off the hook by saying, or I will be calling you. Very similar to what I would do if we change context. Let's go to an expired call, for example, right? Same thing, right? And we go back. We don't need to divert from everything that we typically do. We just go back to where we started and we say, hey, it's Danny Griffin from Griffin Realty Group. I've been trying to reach you because I wanted to make sure I got you the information that you had requested. Or if it's expired, I noticed your beautiful house online and I noticed it didn't sell. And I've been trying to reach you because I wanted to get you some information that will help you sell it the next time. But since I haven't been able to reach you, I just thought it was so helpful. I'm going to go ahead and send it. Okay. I'll be following up to make sure it arrives. So you could even be proactive like that. But I think if you take that beat to think in your head that your obligation is to fulfill something, do something first, right? And then you're relevant in that message. It's not a pesky thing. Now let's go back to kind of how you asked the question. Is there an occasion? See, that's a strategic message, right? That's a strategic message, meaning it's in line with your overall strategy to be opening up a lane that's different from everybody else, which is by fulfilling and providing free information that's helpful to them. Let's just say, though, you want to try something else sometimes, okay? Let's say that didn't work or you needed an alternative. I'm going to go back to what I would term now technique and tactic, because I've learned a lot by listening to Autumn, who's a pro telemarketer who's working with me, and I've listened to some things that I love, not the least of which was when somebody answers the phone, I hear these long word whiskers and people, hi, is Sally, and like you sort of get all caught up there, right? Where I loved her tactic, where she said, Danny, it's just a question mark at the end of the lead's name. It's so stupid simple, but it's a trigger. When somebody hears their name with a question mark after it, it's almost like there's an authority questioning them. You could even say like, Danny, right? The idea of that is that there's no strategy per se in that other than it's a really good tactic. So I guess the real thin strategy is a tactic, but I'm not expressing why I'm calling. So that's why I didn't call it the full strategy. So let's say we go back to the call and you want an alternative. I defer to the first one, fulfill. You asked me for this. I'm the person tasked with reaching out to you to get it to you, but I have a few questions to prepare it properly. So please call me back so I can get those questions answered and get it right out to you, or I'll call you again. That's very fully strategic, fulfill, and have them feel obligated that they're supposed to finish their part of the job. But to your point, could you get to the third and say, Danny, this is Will, please call me back. Danny, this is Sally, please call me back, right? Please call me back right away. You could do that. There's no doubt about it. And curiosity will definitely trigger somebody, or, hey, Dave, it's Danny. Can you call me back? I have a quick question. Right? So again, you have to be careful of that, because what can happen when you do that is you can end up giving away your credibility. If you sound phony when you do that, somebody might see through that, get suspicious, and not do it. But it is possible for that kind of a message to work. Any thoughts about either one of those strategies or questions?
No, that's great. I do want to echo something that you said way earlier. Not way earlier, just a few minutes ago. For anyone that is listening, one of the things that you said is that some people are calling once and then not again on that day.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you're doing that, you're making a huge mistake.
Yeah, for sure. So talk more to that, though, because you've been doing this a lot. This is full-time what you do on the Metro City team. Well, speak to that, because I do believe that's a big issue. I'm with you 100%. Talk a little bit more about why you're saying that to people, because I think what you have to be careful to not fool yourself into thinking that I did the job, because that's a farce. I mean, you should be hungry to get that lead on the phone to turn it into the garbage pail, because it's not going to work out, or the prospect pail where there's a chance, right? So speak to that a little bit more as a pro who does this.
Just the psychology behind when you get a phone call one time, you see a number, easy to ignore. You see that number a second time in the same day, the curiosity is going to get so many people, and in my experience, it does. I think I've talked to 3 people today alone, where the first call they didn't answer and the second call they did. And that happens to me every single day that I do my job.
Yeah.
So I don't know what more to say,
Yeah, good. No, it's simple. That's the point. The simplicity of the whole thing is that you are actually just being hungry to go get it, right? I mean, look, your job's not finished. None of us. This is whether you play the role on a team or you own the team. I've said this for years, and I don't understand lead generation if there's not a subsequent idea of pursuing every lead to a conclusion. I hate the concept of waste. I hate the concept of trying to get so many leads that you scrape only what you consider to be the cream. It's waste. It's poorly managed. And in the long run, it permeates the rest of your business and your mindset, and you're losing. People ask me all the time about time management. I get that question all the time. I don't know what, Sonia Coffey, you're up next, by the way. She brought it up. I don't know what, time management. I'm running it. Well, it's because of these types of inefficiencies. Number one, we're looking for too many leads. Number two, we're putting in a halfway effort to really pursue each one to a conclusion. So when you're skimming, it's a poor mindset. And it actually is the thing that's costing us time. So good for you. Bravo. How's it going, by the way? Everything going well for you?
Yes, sir.
And we know you tripled your effectiveness last year, if I'm not incorrect in stating that way. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, just mind-boggling. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. And, I beat you up a couple times on this call before, because I cared about you. There's nothing more validating for both of us to sit here and say, last year you tripled the amount of production that you were directly involved in. And I still think that's scratching the surface for you, because I think you're at the point where you're going to be able to make smaller and smaller distinctions like we are. So that's why I threw you a little extra bonus there by going off into other things, like when they answer. If you listen to these things, I might actually, if I have some time, I might have a call that I can go back to where you can hear when I was dealing with Paul Cantu's call that he gave me on the helpline this week. His gal has excellent tone. She's way too fast, and she's steamrolling towards the close, where my gosh, if she would just take that beautiful natural talent and she would bring it back and refine it a little bit, should be wildly effective like you will. And she will. Don't get me wrong. It's not like she won't, but she will. So good for you. Bravo. That's why I'm thrilled you stepped up first here. Students who are eager to get beaten up here in the pit with me, they improve if they trust me, right, bud? You can validate that.
Yeah, living legacy right here.
I love it. Attaboy. Keep them rolling. Thanks for the question. All right, Sonia Coffee, you're up. Let's go to it.
Hello.
How are you, darling?
Hi. Who are you talking to?
That was Dave up in Seattle. That is the Metro City team. I coach up there. They're fabulously successful, and they have worked very, very diligently to refine not only the underlying strategy. They were a team that did that very thing I just talked about. You know, they had an enormous amount of lead generation, and like most people who grew up in this idea of team, well, everybody got addicted to just buying leads by the truckload, and nobody ever thought about the quality of the lead. Nobody thought about the quality of the offer. These guys and gals up there have worked tremendously hard to change their mindset. And so I'm so thrilled to be able to call out a guy like that who has listened. He's come here for the beating when his paradigm was out of whack. He's fixed it, and he tripled. Hear what I'm saying? He tripled the amount of business he directly affected last year up there in Canada. So, and he was relatively new to the beginning, so I don't want to overstate the point, but a triple is a triple. So by just refining, and you just heard him say, simple technique of being pursuant of the lead to bring it to a conclusion, not to dial it one and say, I did my calls today. How many people did you talk to? Nobody, but I made 50 calls today. Right? That's no good. That's not somebody whose mentality is to win and prospect. If you ever saw Autumn when she goes to work, she'll walk out of there frustrated if she hasn't been able to achieve prospecting activities, which means talking to people. I mean, she knows that's a failure because she knows the direct of any sale. It begins with that tacit relationship at the lead stage where you're trying to determine, is my original offer that got them to opt in, or am I outbound calling with an offer that meets them? We have to even start with what the heck we're saying, not how we're saying it, not how many times we call, but do I have an offer that sets up a competitive lane that is completely different from everybody else? And I know that sounds weird. Well, how do you get different in a business that's commoditized to a certain extent? Oh my gosh, does it turn out to be easier than I ever thought in every business I've ever seen? You have to differentiate yourself. And that can be very much around you and how you offer the same guidance that exists in the industry. All right, go ahead with your thoughts here, Sonia, and because you've been great. You let me beat you up a couple of weeks ago too, which I appreciate about you too. So thank you.
I'm going to be, I hope those words that you said about Gabe will be me next year.
They will.
I execute want to triple mine as well.
Good. Execute the plan and they will.
Exactly. Okay, so I have two questions. One, I'm Scott's team, and I actually told him I wanted to help him with finding a telemarketer. Do you have a telemarketer ad that I can use I can help him with?
Yes, he has that. Ask.
He does. Okay.
Ask Kyle to go on the Teachable site, and they'll download it verbatim. Yep.
Got it. Okay, got that. Now, my second question is, okay, so I'm on Vulcan. I will be sending you some recordings, got my recording done. And I have started calling, kind of jump back a little bit because I need to definitely work on my objections. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking you to give me an objection handler. So I call, they say, take the number off. They're just pissed off, the same thing. Now, before you answer my question, so objection-wise, what do I say? How do I get past that?
All right, well, hold on. Yeah, good. I got you. You've given me enough meat.
One more.
Go ahead. Come on.
Okay, but one more. I have 6,000 leads, and I want to start with two. I know, too many. But what do I do? So do I call 2 months back? All
right, hold on. Okay, let's not go too far down because I'll handle them all in succession so that it makes sense as a strategy. By the way, let me just first off start. I really appreciate your enthusiasm to learn. It's very clear to everybody each week lately that you've been right there. You're enthusiastic to learn, and I cannot state enough that's about 60% of the battle. So good for you. Number one. Number two, what happens is we get so worked up about all the answers once we become enthusiastic. It's almost like I have to pull the reins back on your enthusiasm and say, okay, you're going to get up above these answers with me, please. today. I don't want you down in the microeconomics at the moment. I'll go down there and I'll answer them, but I want to pull you up to the higher level so you can look down on strategy. Okay. So when you get into the strategy looking down, what you see is the buyer, the seller funnel that makes a business successful in real estate. And by that way, I know a lot of people watch me on Facebook. This is applicable to any business. The idea is I have to build relationships with people I don't know so that they will accept me as a potential for guidance through the real estate process, right? That's the premise here. So first of all, before we rush down with objection handling, I just want to make it clear to everybody that you're asking me about the context of one particular type of seller. Is that right? Are you asking me about expireds first? Yes?
Correct.
Okay. So we have a seller, but we have the context of expired. That matters a lot because what we're going to offer somebody with that context is different from what we would offer somebody who has the context of being the administrator of a probate estate, right? Obviously. So we have to get ourselves, I call this getting yourself athletic. You don't just start swinging at the ball until you go up to the plate, you get your legs under you, you bend your knees slightly, you get in a comfortable athletic stance so that you're there. It's very important that when you make that initial call, you get athletic, right? And I really mean this. You sit at a desk where you are, you're comfortable, you're upright, your voice is there. What the offer is, especially if it's manifested in a physical product like we do with the free guidance and the cover letter and eventually the comparables, it should be sitting there with you so that you can see it and your attachment to it becomes strong. Because that's your unique selling proposition. And if you don't believe in it, the minute you say, Sonia, it's going to almost fall flat at least by 1 degree versus somebody like me that's sitting there competing with you that believes it. Okay? So the first thing is goal number 1 in an outbound expired call would be to fulfill just the same thing I said to Dave. Identical. They have an inbound inquiry for an over-the-net home evaluation. Instead of running down, and jumping up all over this lead like a puppy in heat, you just say, hey, I'm simply here to fulfill the request that you made of us, and I want to get it right because I want it to be the best information for you. Right? Now, a lot of people will be afraid. They thought they could just distance themselves. Their seriousness of purpose is not there. I get it. There's a lot of variables. In the case of an expired, we very clearly know what that context is. So we can very clearly offer something that we already know. If we were in their seat as professionals, knowing what we know, what would be really helpful to them. And this is the concept of giving away your best guidance for free. That's the idea. In any business, you have to be able to understand you're going to have to give away some of your best stuff for free. It doesn't mean you're giving away, the keys to the Comstock mine. It simply means, look, here's what to do. If I were in your situation, knowing what I know, here's what I would do. I would take a look at these 5 or 6 properties with their pictures and details and see what they sold for and be realistic about what the money's buying. Then I would come over to the 7 steps and I would read it. And I would consider that when you tried to do this the first time, did you screw up the pricing it right? Did you recondition it to the best of your ability? Did you stage it? And then and only then did you consider the steps in marketing. And then once that was all done, was there communication from the field? Was the buyer agent coming? Was the buyer coming? Were they giving you feedback that was positive or negative? Did you get all the way to an offer where maybe it fell apart there? Was anybody crossing T's, dotting I's, solving closing problems until you got to the end, right? So the idea is, if you take yourself for a ride along that guidance and you believe it, your enthusiasm is now channeled. It's not just at anything. There's a strange calmness amongst the best because they so believe and they have acted as if success is already happening in their mind that the body doesn't know the difference between practice in the mind and real. So it's almost they're manifesting the successful outcome. All that is critical, Sonia, to starting. And so that's how you get up above it and you slow it down. Now we make the call. You're already down the line with frequently asked objections, which the strategy is already being designed to avoid some of them. If you are the 34th caller, and in fact, on the mind map, I'm going to play this one for you today too. I'm going to show you evidence of somebody who was totally a rookie at real estate. Okay. When she was working for Will Daly, she came in.
Danny, I think your mic keeps going in and out.
Okay. Not much I can do about that. Can you guys all hear me okay? Is it just her or is it everybody?
It's everybody.
Okay. That's not good. That's not good. I get all the bars here. So, all right, I'm going to do my best. When you say, are you hearing enough of it where you know what I'm saying? Or am I go? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to fight through it here. So the bottom line is that now you arrive at executing a very specific plan. Okay. If you don't execute that very specific plan, then you're going to run into problems and challenges because of you. Okay. So in other words, if I get to the point now where I'm talking to this person on the phone and I know there's competition and a lot of it, a lot of people are calling this person at the same time. So all of a sudden you arrive there knowing that, but you are confident that nobody is going to call them to give away their best stuff for free to actually help them. You tracking me? Come on, speak.
Yes, I do, but I just can't keep them on the phone long enough for me to explain them.
Not true. Just not right. You're just not there with the technique yet. Not true. First of all, before I spill the beans, tell me what you would say to me. Ring, ring. Hello.
Oh, you're really gonna
You better believe I am.
Hi.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, ring, ring. Hello.
Danny?
Yep. This is Danny.
Hi, Danny. Hi, Danny. This is Sonia Coffey with Remax Champion. And the reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online and I noticed it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that will help you sell it the next time.
You're telling
Can
me
I do that?
you're telling me they're hanging up on you that fast?
Well, no, I get there and then I can get through this, but
Yeah.
then they're like, no, how'd you get my number? Stop calling me.
Okay, how many times
And then
though?
I go back.
But how many times did you'd have to now you have to prove that, okay, stop, I got it. And I do understand those are real objections. Let's deal with it. Okay. Those are real. We hear them all the time. How'd you get my name? You know, everybody's suspicious, right? I saw your beautiful house online. Your information was online. Okay. It's an easy objection handler, right? Your information was online, period, paragraph, right? End of story. So I'm a realtor. Your information's just out there. So the reason, like, they're frustrated. Remember what you're arriving at. You're arriving in a triage moment. Somebody has just failed at something. They're frustrated. And every knucklehead realtor in the world with no strategy who just is simply calling them in an agitating way. In fact, some of the scripting and teaching out there is just appalling that they would call up to agitate people. I just don't get it. So you're arriving during what is essentially a yard sale train wreck, right? I mean, you're in the thick of this. So you have to accept what you're going into is chaos. So you have to be strong in there. Okay. And I'm telling you, I told you this before a couple of weeks ago. We have these things called cognitive distortions. It's what the brain does. It exaggerates. Look that up. Cognitive distortions. In cognitive behavioral therapy, which my sister turned me on to, she's a special needs teacher for 35 plus years. She turned me on to this and I found a list. We will tend to exaggerate that one moment because it scares us. It bothers us. It's the thing that goes wrong. And then we layer it onto everything that happens. And over the course of enough calls, it just doesn't happen that often. Okay. So
well, then you're right, because I've only done this for maybe 2 hours.
Okay. So
and I stopped because I don't like it.
So there you go. There you go. But this is precise. This is an excellent call, by the way. Okay. Bravo, Sonia Coffey, for telling me the truth, because I can prove it so much easier. In a 2-hour window, you got your teeth knocked in. Okay. And it sucks and it's painful. It's demoralizing and it's an attack on self-esteem. But in a world where we just all have gotten so used to being so damn comfortable, is that really the worst thing that's going to happen to us in a week? Holy shit, we should all sign up for it today, right? See what I'm saying? So we've gotten so softened by life that the minute something gets difficult, and why wouldn't it be difficult? You're calling up somebody who doesn't know you, who's frustrated, who's being pounded on by everybody else that has no strategy. And now that's exacerbating this. And you have a chance to be a strong woman in the middle of that. You got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And until you've done this for a whole month, at least 20 hours a week, you don't even have enough data to tell yourself how you're doing.
Right.
You just don't. I mean, I can say that with all authority as a coach with thousands of hours of doing this and teaching it, right? Is that it's just not enough. It's not a sample. It's like think about a scientific sample that makes a claim on the cause of cancer if somebody did 2 hours worth of research. It's an absurdity, isn't it? Right? So in sales, if our sample is, I never told you it wouldn't be rough, right? It will be rough. There will be people, look at Autumn's heard FU multiple times, but as a pro who has thousands of hours doing telemarketing, it just skids off her shoulder. But I bet she'd tell you when she was an 18-year-old kid and first started telemarketing a message that it hurt because we take it personally when the truth is, how dare we? You know, see, we're always making it about ourselves in a service business. And that's precisely the paradigm that kills us. I'm going to give you an analogy that I use often when I find this very common problem, this mindset problem. Imagine now instead Sonia Coffey's a nurse and she's at home and her nursing bag is right there that she dropped it down, by the kitchen table. She's having a cup of coffee at the end of work, long day. And all of a sudden there's a nasty sound in the backyard and a small plane crashes. She looks out the door. She sees bodies all over the place, people moving around. There's survivors, there's injured. She instinctively grabs her bag. She runs out. And the first person that she arrives upon in that plane crash is a 350-pound lineman. And she goes over and says, hold on, let me help you. And he yells, F you, get away from me. Can't you just see I was in a plane crash? Does she turn back and go into the house? Or does she walk past to the next lady who's sitting there saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yes, please help me. You got to walk through the ones that aren't there. You can't help and save everybody. But there are so many people out there that will be more than willing to accept your help. Shame on you if you quit at that early stage. Again, I'll take it the first time, but if you do it again, all you're doing is doing it. So see, now you're coming back to me for training on one small sample. I will help you with it, but I don't want you to think that I'm helping you with that and not going to kick you in the butt to say, oh my gosh, give me a real sample, please. That's not a real sample. Even a 20-hour week of doing it, I would take, that's 10x. The 2 hours, right? And did you really do 2 hours or did you get kicked in the teeth 45 minutes in and went reeling through the rest of it? And again, these are rhetorical questions that you ask, right? Right? Fine. Yeah. You're sort of thinking through it. All right. Now let's go back to objections that are real. You got the point. It's a mindset thing and you haven't logged the hours. Okay. But when you do, and you get in a rhythm, the real rejects you're going to see, that's good news. That is a person who is not going to give you a chance to prospect them. They're not going to give you a chance to give your best stuff for free and your care to them. Accept it. That is part of the numbers game. The faster you can find the ones who said, bug off, leave me alone, wonderful. That is a lead, an expired lead in this case, who goes into the trash, Sonia Coffey's trash. There's no opportunity. It's a hard no. My sister's a realtor. Go away. I hate all you realtors. Whatever. We live in a world of plenty. There are plenty of people to help. And to be successful and in turn get paid for that guidance and help, you're going to be shocked at how easy it is. Okay? So now we come back to it. I want you to give me every objection that you have or think you have. Because by the way, we also have a spreadsheet that Scott will share with you off the Teachable site, okay? But go ahead, and now you tell me. First of all, you can react to that if you'd like to, or I'll just go into objection handling. Sonia?
You're cut off.
Okay, Sonia, can you hear?
I see your mouth.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so here's the deal. You can react to what I said, or you can give me objections, your call.
I can't. I don't. Every other word I hear.
Can anybody else hear me? Are we having a real problem with everybody? Yeah?
You are cutting in.
Okay.
I'm hearing you just fine, Danny.
Okay.
I hear you just fine as well.
Okay. Sonia, I don't know. Maybe it's your phone or you want to walk about or something like that.
No, I'm sitting at the computer.
Okay.
Okay, say it again.
I'm going to deal with the objection. Here we go. Okay. When somebody says that, here's the easiest objection to handle it. You tell me again specifically what she said. What'd she say?
I'm not selling anymore.
Oh, really? Your plans changed? Just like that. I'm done. I mean, like, what's so hard? Oh, really? Your plans changed? Okay. Period. I mean, you just go back to being a human being and think you're in a conversation with somebody, right?
Right.
What happened?
Right. Okay. A conversation. I think I'm just trying too hard.
Oh, there's no doubt. You're so white knuckled that you quit after 2 hours. That's how white knuckled you were. You're predicating your entire. I know what you're doing. This is cognitive distortion and how dangerous they are. It's inaccurate. Napoleon Hill called it inaccurate thinking. You put your whole future into your first 2 hours of a sample that you're so white knuckled you can't even see the road. Why do you think I knew that in advance and said, please get up above this with me, looking down upon this gal by the name of Sonia Coffey, say, can you see how white knuckled she is? She can't even see the road in front of her. So all of a sudden you go from being this person who face to face would be excellent to not. All right?
Yeah, I actually stopped and said, screw it. I'm going to go knock on doors instead of call. And I'm like, I can't do that.
There you go. You quit.
I mean, talk to them in person.
It's hard work to say this to you, but you quit. You just did.
What?
You quit.
What?
Yeah, you quit. I have to move on because your phone's not working too well with mine. So I have to move on. But you quit. So you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Put your boots back on.
Agreed.
Yep. Cool. Good job, though. All right. Next. Who's up next? I'll go to something next. Paul, you want to take me because you can hear me? Gail? Oh, there you go, Rebecca. I'll take you.
Hey. So I sent you 2 calls. They're good examples of I guess, doing the script, but they're still kind of like one guy thanked me for following up on him, but he wasn't ready. He's still dealing with he's still fighting in court, I guess, because he said, we're still fighting the details, but call me back in 30 days. So they were pretty decent calls.
Good. I like
but
that.
I did have a question regarding autumn, and maybe like just out of curiosity, what's the typical number of people that I can expect to get Gail to see? I mean, I don't know. What's the average number of appointments that I should be?
There's no such thing. No such thing. There's just no such thing. We don't know. I would be a fool to give you an answer. I would lose my credibility. There's no such thing. There's just not enough data. We live in a world of disruption. A lot has changed, disrupted by the internet. We're using these techniques of productizing information in a new way. There's just so many variables. It's just, I wouldn't do that to myself. You're doing similarly what Sonia is doing to herself. You're trying to white knuckle a result instead of trying to grow yourself into it. I think early on, because you're early on in your career doing this as well, you're trying to do enough work where there is discovery. Okay. You are trying to discover how this really works for yourself. And we have the variable of Palo Alto Atherton being not such a huge volume as far as the number of transactions versus the massive volume of the price of the sales. So an answer for somebody that would be sitting in Wisconsin, like the O'Connors, who are doing 250 to 300 deals between 3 guys because the deals are smaller, and that tends to be what happens in a lower average price area versus high. You'd be looking for numbers that wouldn't be relevant to you, nor would they be relevant to us being on the bleeding edge of new technique. So if I gave you that, it might be, I don't know, it might be just hurt you either way. give you too high of a goal
Might
or
be
too low. Yeah, it wouldn't be right.
It
So,
might be a little misleading.
100%.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be setting you up for failure either way, right? So what I would say is more important, and Gail has this tracker sheet. Track the number of hours, track the number of conversations, track the number of packages that you get a yes to, track the number of follow-up conversations from there, and that's going to tell you. I mean, you're trying to get in the house. In your case, I don't know what the average price is in Atherton. Gail could probably tell us. I think I might have muted Gail's mic early on, but whoop. I don't know if that was Gail trying to come in. I don't know what the average price would be there, but holy moly, it would be a really high number. So let's just say it's well over $1 million, maybe even closer to 2 in a small city, right? So think about what you're asking. You're asking to go in to the phone conversation with somebody who owns a $2 million house and introduce yourself somehow as a professional to simply gain a foothold in a conversation, to somehow convince those people to allow Gail to come in and present. You're asking for a lot. I mean, I'm not saying that the 2 million versus the 200 is, as a human being, is any different, but I think we start to lose our sense of what we're trying to gain. You're trying to build a pipeline of people who are beginning to trust you. So the first thing to measure is how many people are trusting you. We call those prospects. They were the ones that gave you a real yes. Yes, Rebecca, feel free to send the information. They give you a real yes. Okay. That's a prospect. You hit beat number 1 and this sense of pipeline that will eventually bring steadiness and predictability. You have all of 12 months before you have any idea of what these metrics look like. I mean, Autumn's 10 months into this. Okay. And we're beginning to see some semblance of consistency of something happening. Okay. We look at the 3 deals that she's done that has branched other business. There are 2 big deals that she has. John has 2 up here. So as time has gone on, because she has consistently executed, we see for our own business what is possible. Boston took longer. Probates are different. There's just too many variables, right? So what you're looking for are what are called milestones along the way. And that's what I'm looking for. Is Rebecca on the right path? It's like Sonia when we just finished it. Is she on the right path? Yeah, at least she did 2 hours. 2 hours is better than none hours, right? So I think you have to hit those milestones first so that you understand that you're doing these things that are there. You're just so used to this old paradigm of solar, and she was used to coins, that she could get in there, she could make a hit, and she could convert that day, right? So we're not in the instant gratification commodity business. A house is a massive, not only is it a huge retail item, it's most of the time you all are calling somebody's home. You're talking to them about their cave, right? Most of these are primary residence. This is home. So the gravity of the situation, the weight of the situation is massive. So I think you just need that understanding as a rookie to real estate, that this is a more grave, heavy situation than you think. I find you to be very successful, but you have to stop thinking like the solar gal. And I know that's going to take a while to breed out of your thinking because you got conditioned, right? But this is way more interesting in the long run, because you're dealing with elephants, right?
Right. Do you want to review one of my?
I do. I got him. I got him here. I got him right in front of me. Here we go. Ready? Hang on. Let me just open it up and we'll get her rolling.
So that way we can check out mild stuff, right?
Hello, Mark. This is Rebecca with Rossetti Realty. I'm just circling back with you. You said this is for Rebecca with Rossetti Realty. I'm just circling back with you. We talked at the end of November, and you said to go ahead and give you a call at the end of January. So,
thank you for following up on that. I mean, we are still kind of fighting the situation, so nothing to do is up. So if you want to check back in maybe 30 days or so, see what's going on, I'll appreciate it.
okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right.
And best of luck to you, and I'll talk to you next.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, I could dance in the head of a pin a little bit with you. Number one, when people come into this business, there's a perception that the word is realty. That is not a correct pronunciation of the word. Realty is. It's just two beats, REALTY. There's no realty. Happens all the time, right? So fix that up so you sound even more professional, right? That's a simple, stupid little thing. But I want you to be an A+ player. Fix that. Number two, hang on. Number two, I think the next thing here is to make sure that you pause a little bit too. Slow down. I'm finding a lot of these calls, people are very white-knuckled. I'll try to go back and find Paul's recording of his gal in Mexico City. She has a beautiful tone. It's just all too fast. So try to, Autumn has this technique and tactic of really slowing down, and slowing down is actually a sign of authority, and it actually controls the situation. I know if you're stumbling slow and you're in the Northeast, you're going to get the boot. Somebody's going to kick you. You're gone, right? But if it's strong and it's, hi, Rebecca, this is Danny Griffin calling from Rossetti Realty. The reason I'm calling is and if he cuts you off and says, stop talking, let him go, right? Stop talking. There's no need for you to get in everything that you want. If he engages you, okay, or interrupts you, just fall back, let him speak. If he tries to take you off your beaten path, then you can bring him back. But let him get it out. Let him breathe, because it is about them and their process, right? And they will support what they help create. If there's a battle where we're talking over each other, then I think that becomes a problem. That makes sense to you?
It sure does, yeah. And with this particular guy, I think I know why I rushed it a bit. The two previous calls before he picked up, I got cut off, and then they hung up. And so there was that sense of urgency. I got to get the script out.
Got it.
It set a bad tone and rhythm, basically.
Yeah, perfect.
I should be more mindful of that.
Perfect. It's a good excuse. I mean, it is. It's a good excuse, but don't let it be an excuse, right? I get it. This is really high level stuff, by the way, to be able, I am so proud of you all for being able to just maintain any semblance of order. I have the benefit of sitting here up above these things when they're not happening in real time. In real time, when you've been busting your butt for an entire shift to get somebody just to answer the dang phone, I get what happens, that there's a physical change in the body until you become so used to doing the job that doesn't happen anymore. But the heartbeats get going. Especially if you're white knuckled like we talk about, everything gets rushed. Right? So I thought that was fine. Let me listen to the other one. And then Anida, you're going to be up. Was there somebody that was trying to comment on that, by the way, when I was answering it?
Oh, Danny?
Yep, Paul.
You mentioned the fast call that I sent you. I sent you one from last night, so if you can get to it, that'd be super awesome.
It's right there in front of me. I'm going to take Susanna's call. Susanna, are you on the telephone line, by the way? Anida, she needs to be on the telephone line. If you're on the Facebook, you there, Susanna?
You hear me, Danny?
Oh, yeah, there. I got you. Okay, so you're going to be next. I'm going to play this recording. Your call next, and then we'll finish up the call with Paul's. Hang on one sec. Hang on.
You hear me?
Yep, hang on. Hang on. Let me listen to this one.
Hello. Hello, this is Rebecca with Realty. Hello. Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I didn't. I wasn't hearing anything. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Rebecca, I noticed on both calls, there's difficulty hearing you. I understand when we play them as recordings here, they're really difficult to hear. That's just what happens when things get recorded, other than Allison's on Google Voice. There may be a problem with the technology that you're using, because both people struggled to hear you. So you might want to look into why that's happening. Okay.
Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah.
I'll do some tests with the mic and so forth. I think it has to do with a delay in the internet. I'll start talking, but then the mic doesn't pick up until like half a beat after I started talking.
That's not good.
But yeah. I'll look into it.
Good.
Well,
and I bring it up because your effectiveness, you're starting off by hurting yourself. That has nothing to do with you. It's a technology issue. And I think tech becomes a big issue. So I picked it up now twice. So I want to deal with it. You and Gil can figure that out. All right, here we go.
Are sorry about that. That was probably with a bad connection with the mic. This is Rebecca with Rossetti Realty, just touching bases with you because if you're new here, I know last we spoke, you'd taken the house off the market. I'm just checking in to see how things are going with the house. Have you been having any off?
Hold on. When you talked to her the first time, is this a gal you ever, put something out there, right? Did you ever send something?
Yes. She got our package already, and she had said that she had deliberately taken the house off the market because it was winter time and didn't want to interfere with holidays.
All right, here we go.
Or no, it's not on the market. So I've been getting a bunch of calls from realtors asking me whether I was interviewing and I'm not, just to let you know.
Okay, so there's no reference to the package though. How long?
No, because we'd already gone over it. I did answer her questions in the previous call. This was the third call that I'd had with her.
Okay, all right, good.
The first one.
Good, I got you. I just needed context. Let's keep going.
I'm not quite sure when I'll be putting on the market, but what I'm telling everyone is if you come across a serious buyer who's looking to downtown, which is, a desirable place to be, I'm walking distance to everything, just 2 blocks to University and 2 blocks of Park. So if anyone comes across a serious buyer, they should feel free to contact me and you can schedule a showing. But at this point, I'm not quite sure when I'm going to be putting it on the market because I'm not in any rush. But the reason why I ultimately want to move. My goal is to move back to the East Coast. My children are there, and that's the whole idea of me moving. I want to be closer to my family. Yeah, but just not quite sure when I'm going to be putting on the market. So, like I said, feel free to give me a buzz if you have a serious buyer, and you can arrange a showing. I've done a lot of work in the house, and just after I took it off the market, I actually redid the floors on the main floor, so it looks much better. The floors were older. Okay, great.
Yeah, stop doing that. You like all that stuff. Okay, great. Okay, stop doing that. Those are called word whiskers, right? Just stop doing it. This lady is reading her mind out loud to you, and now you almost sound like in a hurry to bail out. Like my fangs are coming out to dig into this one. And I want to help this lady just listening to her because she is revealing like she has a reason to move, which is where I was going to go with you next. Where are you going? You sound like you're trying to get out of Dodge here. And by the way, Autumn did the same thing. Go back and listen to the call last week with probates. She couldn't wait to get the package out the door and then get off. I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? This is somebody that's actually giving us that next level. See, the idea is, did you get the information out? Was it helpful? You're saying that you had a call with her before after she got the package. Did she say any of this? What happened in that one? I'm curious because this lady's reading her mind out loud to you, but now she's disconnected from the package, which made you guys specifically unique. So as I begin to listen to this, I'm saying this lady is away from her kids and she wants to leave and she's trying to sell everybody how this is, right? And she's not sure. You should be right into the seller qualifying questionnaire on this one and maybe even the previous call that says, okay, let me just get this right. You want to go back to see your kids. That's a pretty big reason to move. Let me just ask you a question while I have you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to move back to see them? Right? Those are the next 2 questions that are in that formulaic approach. And she is giving you all the go signs to have that conversation with her. But I have heard no less than 3 times or more so far. Okay, great. You're not athletic. You're not leaning in and go, okay, keep talking. Come on. This is good. Get it out. You're not even saying that, right? I don't know where you're going. I'm about to find out. Here we go.
So it presents beautifully and it's a great home. I've done a lot of work, brand new porch, new windows. So it's an amazing home and I'm just waiting until I feel like the right. Yeah, because it is a great location and it's a great home. It really is.
Yes, and I think your price is reasonable. I mean, it's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath.
I mean, you can't, but to get this kind of space and the background. Backyard. I have a backyard with a deck, and I have a front yard.
All right, the tail's wagging the dog now. She's gone off, and you've had several.
Yeah,
Just have several moments where you should have broken in and said, let me just ask you a question. Okay? May I ask you a question? Just get in there. You're letting the tail wag the dog. Now she's way too far down. Let it go. Your interruptions are more patronizing versus now this is a call sign. This is a go sign. Close me. She's babbling. She's lost. She needs guidance. And she's intelligent and she's making decisions based on her perceptions, not the reality of how this process works. Let's see how it finishes.
Big porch, huge driveway. And if you get all of that in downtown Palo Alto, I think it's so I'm quite happy and just gonna wait for the right price and so I used to live on Forest Avenue. If you know where Forest Avenue is, of course. I live near there, of course, And then I worked in the Palo Alto School District.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Hold on. Who cares? Where are you going? You know what I mean? And again, I think it's important to understand you already have rapport. You don't need this. And in fact, like, this is not about you. And now all of a sudden, it's twice.
The last two calls were very formulaic and very short, and she didn't give this much information. So I was trying to. You're
trying to build rapport. I know what you're trying to do.
With her
it's not the way you do it. Yeah. All right, hold on, Rebecca. It's a problem. It's actually a problem. I think, in a very strong, opinionated way. I think this is where sales training falls apart. You already have rapport. You've already sent something. It's already there. You have to act in this moment as the leader. She's silently, not so much anymore, begging to be led. And you don't need further connection. It's there. You can hear it. Everybody listening to this can hear the connection. She's not hanging up on you. You're connected. And now I'm down to about 30 seconds left in this call or whatever it is. And I'm still waiting for you to say something like, I'm waiting for the right price. Well, this is where you can appeal to her woman to woman, not as fellow neighbors. She's a mother. Her children aren't here. So, I hear you mention your children. I don't know how long you've been away or how long they've been there, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to move and go back there? Appeal to the reason, clarify the timing, and make sure she's rooted in that. Get her off of all this diatribe. We get it. House is gorgeous, right place, has the right stuff. But do you really, are you really going to sit here and sell me and the world on what it is and it isn't? Isn't it more important to stay focused on the reason for moving? And the answer is yes. And as professionals, that's our job. Keep somebody focused on what they do. The house is worth what it's worth. You can BS yourself till the sun comes up and down many, many times on what something's worth when it's not. Market makers like Gail will find the right price. When Gail comes to her house, she will guide her on the benefits and the attributes of the house as it relates to price. That's Gail's job. Your job is to appeal towards, there's a real reason to move. You're motivated, like if you're 8 or 10, say, look, 8 or 9, say, look, if you really want to see the kids, here's what I suggest. You got to get yourself to a 10. How come you're not a 10? All that is the next learning phase for you, because this call, she's giving you the go signs. Let's listen to the rest.
I was up to teacher's aid, so I know the area. I love living there. I worked at a children's theater as well, I love working there. I was a seamstress there for a while in my younger years, So, it's a great location. I'm very partial to it. And, Gail wanted me to touch base with you to see how you were doing, see how everything was going on. And thank you for making my call and let me know what you plan on doing. One last question before I let you go. Because we did send out some information to you that will help you when you do decide to list it. I just would like to know if you actually received it or not. I did. I kept it away with all the other things that people have been sending me. Okay. Yes, everybody. I'm sure you've been getting a lot. Yeah.
Okay. You need to be more attached to that. Okay. You need to be more attached to that. Say, well, look I know a lot of stuff came in, but what she sent you was actually the exact 7-step plan that she uses. I'm sure it will be helpful. I'm sure if you pull it out, take a quick look at it, it would be helpful. Okay? This lady's emotional. She's over the top. And somebody that can grab her by the lapels and say, stop, all, who cares what everything came and all that. Yeah, I get it. Let's go back to why you're doing this. It's called zero-based thinking. How badly do you want to be with those kids? Let Gail come in, let her consult with you and close this deal. Okay? That's it. I'm going to leave that call at that. You got my point. The second, it took you too long to get there. And the worst thing that happened in this call, you didn't need it. You didn't need it. And this lady didn't care. She didn't. She didn't. And she has no idea what you just said because she's vomiting all over you, right? Emotionally. You missed the opportunity in that call to get her to a point where you could reestablish reason and motivation and then say, look, you're a 10. Will you humor me? You don't have to put it on with her. Will you let Gail come in and consult you a little bit? That's a close, okay? And I want to hear it in subsequent phone calls. Cool?
I'm so glad I shared this call with you. Thank you so much.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
I did feel like I was floundering with her because I didn't know she was diatribing
Stick
quite a bit,
yeah.
and I was like,
stick to the yellow. Yeah. Well, here's what you do. Here's what you do. When you get screwed up and lost, go back to the yellow brick system. Your second beat is to establish with them a real, if you have rapport, which you already did, say, tell me a little bit more about the kids. Have you been away from them for a while? Pull on the heartstrings. Remind her. Say, stop talking foolish about your house and what it's worth and all that nonsense. Really is holding out for another what? X number of thousands worth not seeing them? Life is short. That's the message here. And those that are bold enough to go there with people sell a lot of property. Okay? Susanna,
thank you so much,
you're welcome. You're welcome. Susanna, you're up. Go ahead. Question.
Hey, Danny.
Hi, darling.
Hi. So I just started yesterday with calling the expired.
Yes.
And a question I had for you is because I had blocked the day out, an hour out yesterday. I was getting a lot of like voicemails and machines. Do I leave messages for expireds or just hit them again the next time?
All right, that came up. You must have come in a little bit after we started because that came up at the very beginning. It was a good question by Dave. Yeah, that's okay. All good. All good. I just want to make sure that everybody didn't hear it. I repeat it. Originally, when I built into Infusionsoft, the follow-up system that I believed was best practices, it was you call them the first day and you try them multiple times up to 3 times. You'd call them the second day multiple times up to 3 times. Multiple times up to 3 times. At the third call on the last day, I had written, leave a message. And the message is all about fulfillments, okay? Which means what? You have this beautiful package of information that is essentially a what to do it yourselfer. Hey, Danny, it's Susanna calling from Anita Tarapor's team. The reason I'm calling is because we saw your beautiful house online and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to send you a packet of information that will help you sell it the next time. I've been trying to call you to make sure I had the right address, but I'm just going to go ahead and send it to the address of the property and I'll call you back to make sure that you get it, or you can feel free to call me. Boom. State of the yellow brick system. The message is in line with what's going to be sent. Cool?
Oh, so you would leave the message and send the package?
That's one option. Option number 2. Hi, Susanna. This is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is I've been trying to reach you because I saw your beautiful house online and noticed it didn't sell. So I wanted to get some permission to send some information that will help you sell it the next time. If you please call me back, I'd appreciate it. If not, I'll try you again.
Gotcha.
2 alternatives. Whatever you and I decide is a good business move. Right? And it's all in the scripting. It's just that leave a message based on what you would have said had they picked up. You're just referencing the same info, but unfortunately you're not talking to them. So you can, don't tell them I'm going to send you pictures and details and my 7-step thing. Don't tell them that. Okay. You need curiosity. We want to send you something that will help you sell it the next time. That's different enough. And that's curiosity, and say, so please call me back so I can make sure I have the right mailing address, or I'll call you again. So now you put them on notice. It's been you calling and you're not going away. So they can either call you or you're going to call again. But there is something in it for them. So now that message has left. There's a WIFM. Follow me?
Gotcha.
Awesome. Okay. So practice that. All right. Dr. Cantu, you are last up here today. So
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, dude. So let's go to this.
So here's the thing, real quick.
Yeah.
After our call on Tuesday, I took a screenshot of what was on the GoToMeeting, and I said, I want you to change your language to this. I want you to slow your cadence down. I want you to ask permission. I want you to ask, how are you? And she's done a couple of those things, but she hasn't changed the script. You know, I saw your lovely home, da-da-da. But just listen to the call and be please, as critical as possible, or, you know, whatever.
Paul, why don't we do this? Paul,
4 o'clock today.
Paul, even better, let's go back to the other one, listen to it first, and then this one. And then you yourself will be able to see the effectiveness of instruction and whether it's sinking in yet. Okay? I do that.
Oh, it is. I tell you, you'll see a difference, but not what we want to see yet.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
well, good.
back.
But I would love everybody to hear evolution. Here we go. Let me see. I think I've got the first one.
Hello? Hello? Hi, I was looking for Wei.
Yes, I am. Who is it?
Hi, this is Sam with Cantu Group Real Estate. See, the reason for my call is that we saw that your home didn't sell the last time it was on the market. And we wanted to go ahead and send you a package of information that we think you'll find very useful the next time you put your home up for sale. I just wanted to confirm the address. Is it 4833 130th Avenue in Southeast Boulevard?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it over and I'll follow up with you in 2 days to make sure that you received it, okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Bye.
I call that running a lead over with a truck. Wei has no idea what happened.
I'd say with a semi-truck.
Yeah. So now let's go back to this next one. Let's see evolution. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, is this Mr. Tater?
Unprepared right off the bat. Hear it? Like unprepared. Here we go.
She didn't speak. She didn't have the name in her head already.
You got it. You got it. Starts go fishing. 6 seconds just to say, Danny, right?
Yes. That's when somebody's
Hi, this is Sam from Cantu Group Real Estate. How are you today?
I am doing fine. How are you doing?
How are you today? You know, I mean, just setting herself up for a difficult thing. 14 seconds to how are you today? No context, nothing. Trying to do it on muscle. And she has a beautiful speaking voice. She sounds great on the phone. She's upbeat. She's engaging. So all the raw materials are there. But I'm 14 seconds in to get to how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. See, we were just giving you a call. We saw that your home was on the market for a while and it didn't sell. So we wanted to go ahead and send you a package of information that we think you'll find very useful the next time you put it up for sale. Can I go ahead and send that over?
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, right now it's under rental contract.
She can't wait to get off the phone. Right? Here we go.
So I'm not interested in selling, but yeah, in June, July, probably I will try to look in the market at that point.
Okay. All right, perfect. So what would be the best mailing address I have here? It's 18570
No,
Northeast.
that's the property.
57.
That's the actual property. You should send me, I can give you another address, which is 3220.
3220.
178th Street, Southeast, Bothell, Washington, 98012.
All right, perfect. So I'll send you that over and I'll follow up in a week just to make sure that you received it, okay?
Yep, thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, not terrible. It's definitely an improvement, but again, you can see she's making up her own language. And I think over time that what we're trying to achieve in this group is to say, what language is the best? What does best practice sound like? And so there's a lot of things that are being left out. Trigger words like because, those are real telemarketing words, influence words, trigger words. I mean, the way that the human being works is a very particular way. So if you can stay to the yellow brick road, you can still sound it and make it sound very conversational, but she's making this up. Let's go back and listen to it again in the beginning, especially. By the way, the reason I let it play for the address, I want to make a point to everybody. Don't assume it's the address that you're calling about. This was Autumn and I talked about this. This allows for better process. So here we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, is this Mr. Tater?
Yes.
Hi, this is Sam from Cantu Group Real Estate. How are you today?
I am doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. See, we were just giving you a call. We saw that your home was on the market for a while and it didn't sell. So we wanted to go ahead and send you a package of information that we think you'll find very useful the next time you put it up for sale. Can I go ahead and send that over?
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, right now it's under.
Okay, so you get it. You get the point. It's just not there. Just look at Paul. The challenge with going to Mexico City to do this is she's not there. She's been told that her job is to get you in the house, right? And she's rushing everything. And so the problem is the premise is there. She needs to be on these training calls with me to say, look, slow down, read the darn script the way that we wrote it, not the way that you have it, and make it conversational because you have a beautiful conversational tone. Slow down. You're actually hurting Paul because you're not necessarily getting him set up for even good follow-up. So now when she got that one out the door, and this guy is definitely ready in a short period of time in June, this is a really good opportunity, okay? Like, how do you know that when she sends it to you?
Well, I mean, I just know because I'm listening to the recording, and you said June or July, which is like right around the corner.
Right around the corner. I mean, this is
so
a go.
So that gets moved into my folder, and I'm actually the one, even though she said I'll follow up with you in a week, I actually called in 3 days, and I'm the one that called her and I said, hi, Danny. You say, yes, who's this?
Yeah.
Hi, Danny, this is Paul with Cantu Group Real Estate. You spoke with my associate, Sam, a few days back, and you gave her permission to send you a package of information that we thought you'd find useful. The next time you go to sell, did you receive it? Did you have a chance to review it? And then I go from there.
Yeah. Paul.
So I'm actually the one doing that follow-up.
Yeah, Paul, and I understand that. So here's what we would do. We're not going to teach her what we taught Rebecca today, which was the higher level stuff to go into the understanding of reiterating reason and establishing true timing based on the 1 to 10 scale. We don't need to go.
I did that training with her, but she's just not ready yet.
No, hold on. Listen, hold on. Paul, you're not hearing what I'm saying. She's not there, nor will she ever be, most likely, because you got a different setup. I would like her to be, but what I'm saying is, she has to be disciplined to get beat one done. And if she's not, this is not going to be a good experiment for you. She has to do it the way that you say to do it. Okay. And then it will be easier to teach her to figure out reason and timing for you so that when she sends it over, when you call back, hey, you talked to my associate. I know that you're thinking about moving in June and it sounded like you were super motivated. I'm thinking to myself, why don't I just deliver this to you? So there will be a benefit to it, but it's not rocket science to get the first piece of this right. When you buy this time from somebody, they either do it the way that you say to do it, or it's not going to be a long relationship as far as I'm concerned. It has to be ruthless management of this because she really didn't do much different, Paul. She's still doing it the way. What?
I thought she slowed down a little.
Well, she fumbled and stumbled all over the beginning of it because she's not athletic.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm 14 seconds of fumbling in this day and age. Like, think about this. I don't know if you could time me, but ready? Count slowly the minute I say your name. Ready? Here we go. Paul. Yes. Hey, it's Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online and I noticed it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that, Paul? What'd you get?
Yeah.
What'd you get? Did you count?
I stopped counting. I stopped counting at 12, but I mean, it was what I want.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Inside of the time it took her to get, how are you? She was 14 seconds. I already have the whole entirety of the thing out and I wasn't speaking quickly. I mean, in a world where we have a lot of people calling people, if we are not succinct, then we are the problem. Make sense?
I think she got very lucky that she was talking to an elderly person that probably has a lot more patience than people that expect things, in a nanosecond now, like unfortunately 75% of the population does, So I think she left out getting somebody patient.
If you did that in the East Coast, you can ask Anita, myself, Dean, Lee, you would have been hung up on. There's no tolerance for that,
No, I mean,
right?
so Seattle's no different than Boston. I can promise you.
Well,
There's
there you go.
Yeah.
So you're right. She got lucky then.
Yeah, she got lucky. She had an old person.
Yep.
That was patient. Probably wasn't doing anything important that moment. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, listen, I've got to call it. I'm out of time. Great job, everybody. That was really a meaty call. Lots of good ideas, lots of good questions. Appreciate everybody who participated. Dave, thank you for kicking me off. Paul, thanks for finishing it up. And ladies in the middle, that was awesome. All good. Okay. We'll see everybody. Keep practicing this stuff, but stick to the yellow brick system. When I give you something to follow it to the letter, make it conversational, follow the system. So when it screws up, guess whose problem it is? Mine. And then you get to come back and beat me up because what I told you to do didn't work. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate your participation.
Okay.
You bet.